Make your bed, eat nutritious foods, fix your damn sleep schedule, drink some water, you dehydrated slug, meditate, journal, take an ice bath, wake up at 5 a.m. so that you can achieve all your goals before people even wake up. Uninstall TikTok because it's milking your dopamine receptors dry like the cash cow that your attention span is. Go to therapy and exercise. I really hope you enjoyed these tips. I know some of them were a bit unconventional and you probably haven't heard some of them before. Thanks for watching and bye! What do you mean you've already heard all of these tips before? It's not very, not like other girls with me. Let me try this again. Tired of being you? Become you but better with these 15 habits. If you want to trick your brain into thinking that you're a competent human being and that you're very capable of doing other human being tasks, start your day off with a very simple and very easy task of making your bed. This creates an upward spiral and you can even use this as a cue to stack your next habit. This is the habit stacking formula. Current habit, I will. New habit. Take your existing habits and use them as a cue for any new habits that you want to implement. So after you make your bed, that makes a great cue to do a meditation because your bed's already made and you have somewhere nice to sit. Another habit cue could be after you brush your teeth, you floss. That's how I started flossing. A morning routine or a night routine is the perfect place to stack new habits into. However, you can create situational or location-based habit stacks, such as whenever you get the emotional cue that you want to buy something impulsively, that behavioral cue can initiate the new habit of putting that thing onto a wish list instead of following the impulse and buying thing. Whenever I felt like having the sneaky nicotine, I would crochet. I would use that like nervous, anxious, irritable energy to like crochet a bunch of stitches. Speaking of routines, you don't really need a morning routine, but if you have responsibilities or things that you need to do for 8 hours a day, a morning routine is the place where you can indulge in a sense of autonomy before you go off into the world of responsibilities. You don't have to wake up early, but ideally you wake up a little bit earlier than you need to and do something that you actually enjoy, that you choose for yourself. You make your first choice of the day something that's just for you. You're not like getting dressed and brushing your teeth and putting your work bag together to go off to work. You're picking something that you like to do for yourself that isn't part of like getting ready to go to work, and that gives you a sense of autonomy and control in this autonomyless and controlless world that we have to live in. For me, I wanted the result of putting myself and my goals first. So I thought waking up early would be easy because I'm like, oh, I get to choose what I want to do before I go off to work. But honestly, it wasn't as appealing as just sleeping. Why would I wake up when I could sleep, you know? But I wanted the result. I wanted the outcome because I knew it would be good for me and it would help me towards my goals. So what I did was I learned to work with my cycle and not against it. Generally with my womb bearing body, I experience a menstrual cycle, and generally after a menstrual cycle you have more energy, and I can see this objectively. Period finishes, so I will have more energy. I pretty much said fuck you to myself. Here is the logical evidence that you have more energy. You're gonna wake up at the time that you said you would wake up at, and you don't get the luxury of arguing with me when I have the evidence here that you have more energy. Sometimes you're not actually tired, you're just used to being asleep at this time. That's a habit. So when it's 8 or 9 a.m. you feel tired, even though maybe you already got 8 hours of sleep. Get off Pinterest. You are not starved of inspiration. If you have ever watched a video that talks about how to get your life together or getting off social media, Pinterest comes up in one way or another. It's inspiring, it feels creative because the way that you engage with the content is through curation, which gives the content a more personal and interactive experience rather than just really shallow likes and shares. But you need to keep in mind that any content that you consume that comes for free isn't actually for free. You pay with your attention span, you pay with your time. I am not saying that Pinterest is as bad as Instagram or TikTok, but also I do see that a lot of Pinterest content does actually come from TikTok. It does come from Instagram Reels as well. So there is short form content on Pinterest. You need to be careful about that. And you can overconsume Pinterest as well. There are tons of beautiful people on there to compare yourself to. There are images of stuff that you wish you had. There is a fine line between feeling inspired and feeling inadequate. Maybe I'm just a boomer and I find Pinterest too inspiring. I'm inspired to do things, but I don't want to complete 134 craft projects. Find an exercise protocol that works for you. Don't just do Pilates because it's popular and because it's trendy. I wish I was a pink Pilates princess. I know I kind of talk about it in other videos about how it's my intention, and I most definitely have the wardrobe for it. However, I know my body needs more attention, more of a customized approach than a typical Pilates class can give me, because I've been in chronic overuse pain for over 8 years. I've literally done Pilates before it was cool, and let me tell you that without all the pink, without all the romanticization, without all the Lululemon, Pilates is fucking boring. The unfortunate thing is, if this trendy aesthetic existed when I needed it like 8 years ago, maybe I would have stuck with it, and then maybe my body would be in better condition than it is now. But unfortunately, that is not the way that my life turned out. But there is something to learn with the pink Pilates princess aesthetic. Is like, you don't have to do Pilates. You can do whatever exercise protocol that fits you. And the takeaway here is making things aesthetic helps romanticize the experience for you, which lessens the discomfort that it takes to start a new habit. Journaling. I love stream of consciousness writing every morning. I use it to untangle the mess of anxiety. I find it helps me to process difficult emotions, to kind of like get it out on the page, and then I can read it, and then I can write, and like talking to myself. If I'm not going through anything, then I just use this time to journal what I'm gonna do today, any of my plans. I like to write YouTube scripts sometimes as well. And of course, you can do gratitude journaling. Gratitude trains your brain to see and focus on the good instead of on the negative. You manifest what you focus on. While you're allowed to feel your feelings and process your feelings and cope if you're struggling, know that if you are coping and processing and feeling your feelings, you aren't manifesting negative things into your life. Negative feelings are a part of the human experience, but you focus on them. If you use these negative experiences, negative emotions to tell yourself stories that aren't true, then that is when you manifest things into your reality that you don't want. A gratitude practice trains your brain to see the positive things in your life so that you can create more of it. You create more of what you focus on. Plan your day. You can do the 3x3 method to plan your day, which is a 3-hour project for the day, 3 shorter tasks, and 3 maintenance tasks. If productivity and habits is new to you and you're like, I don't think I could do that many things in a day, you can just allow the 3-hour project to be your work or your school. Make a schedule and stick to it. And if you can't get everything that you wanted done in a day, that's okay. We're humans and we tend to be overly optimistic about what we can do in a day. This little 3x3 framework helps to prioritize your daily to-dos. Set your phone to black and white and do not disturb in the morning. Just after waking up is when your brain is the most susceptible to influence, as it's still in the alpha wavelength, i.e. it's very suggestible. And you and I both know that neither of us are not using our phones to wake up, but we can lessen the impact of our bad habit of using our phone to wake up by making our phone not so fun and interesting and quirky and not like other girls by setting it to black and white. That way we can still use the light of our phone to wake up. We can still access like journaling apps, maybe some like soft music, or if you want to scroll on Instagram in grayscale, have fun with that. My phone grayscale is set from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. each night. And even if I wake up in the morning morning I want to scroll Instagram, I also have an app limit of 15 minutes for all the social media apps. So if I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'm seeing everything in grayscale, I feel like I'm wasting my 15 minutes of allocated Instagram time to seeing all the pretty content in black and white. Give your brain a break from constant stimulation and try monotasking to find joy in the things that you have to do. Be alone with your thoughts so that you can process them. Okay, sometimes my thoughts are so fucking loud that I can't even consume media because my thoughts are like, hey bitch, I'm gonna yell in your ear. You wanna listen to a podcast? You can't do that because you gotta pay attention to me. Try organizing your room without music. Try going for a walk without listening to a podcast. Try exercising without watching a show. Listen to your own podcast of thoughts, or maybe just some like chill background music. I find that if I'm exercising while I'm consuming media, it distracts from the workout. I'm sure you've all heard of the mind-muscle connection. If you are doing a workout and you're just going through the motions, you may not be activating the correct muscles, and you kind of need to use your brain to switch on the correct muscles in your body, especially if you're not used to activating them. If you are consuming media, if you are watching Netflix while you're trying to work out, you're wasting your time. You're doing a half-assed workout when you could be using your full ass. Allocate 1 day a week or 1 day a month to get a whole bunch of life admin tasks together and to do some deep cleaning. Plan for the month, plan for the week, get to inbox zero. Just have a day where you reset so that following week or the following month and start off on that fresh slate feeling. Implement the 1 in and 1 out rule to declutter your space. So for every item of clothing you bring in, or books or shoes or accessories, whatever you like to collect, whatever one thing that you bring in, one thing has to come out. This is how you can consume but not let your possessions consume you, because this is how you keep on top of it. Okay, a clean environment equals a clean mind. I don't make the rules, I just enforce them. Solo date. Remember to date yourself. We can get so wrapped up in making sure our family is okay, making sure our partners are okay, making sure our friends are okay, making sure that all these relationships are maintained, but we also need to maintain the relationship with ourselves. If you have no ability to do things by yourself, that if you find it icky and weird and cringe and like the world is ending because you go to a movie by yourself or you go sit down at a restaurant by yourself to eat, if you can't do any of these things, number one, you need to start listening to the podcast of your emotions instead of listening to other people talk all the time and over consuming media. And you need to make sure that the relationship you have with yourself is as intentional as the maintenance that you do for your existing relationships. Maybe you're like so comfortable with yourself that you don't ask other people for company. Maybe that's something you need to do. If it takes 2 minutes, do it now. If it's going to take 2 minutes of your time, just do it right now. Don't put it off until tomorrow. Just get it done. Just get it done. Then you don't have to put it on to-do list, and then you don't have to procrastinate on it. One of the habits that I mentioned was doing a reset routine. I have a whole video where I go through my entire monthly reset routine that you can follow along. There's a Notion template that you can download as well, so that you have a little to-do list of what you can do on these reset days that give you that fresh slate feeling for the rest of the month. So you can check that video out here.